Welcome to the Daily Decant, your 5-minute briefing on the world of wine. Each episode delivers practical insights to help you choose, order, and talk about wine with more confidence in everyday social settings. Let's get into today's decant. We are doing Fortified Wines Week. Welcome to Thursday. We are diving into Madeira. And I want to tell you about the most unusual wine in the world. The wine that the conventional rules of wine quality and preservation simply do not apply to. The wine that improves under conditions that would destroy any table wine, and the wine that can remain alive and compelling for longer than any other wine produced anywhere on Earth. Madeira is a volcanic island in the Atlantic Ocean about 400 miles off the coast of Morocco, and is the source of one of wine's most extraordinary stories. The story begins on the island's position as a waypoint on the trade routes between Europe, Africa, and the Americas. Ships stopping at Madeira to take on supplies and water also took on wine, and the local wine was fortified with grape spirit before loading to help it survive the long voyages ahead. What the traders discovered, to their astonishment, was that Madeira wine had crossed the tropics, endured months of heat in the ship's hold, and been sloshed around the oceans for weeks, arrived at its destination not just intact but noticeably improved. The heat and movement that would have destroyed any other wine had somehow transformed Madeira into something richer, more complex, more stable than when it left the island. With that had crossed the equator and returned, called vino de roda, or round-trip wine, commanded premium prices specifically because of the journey it had made. The producers recognized that they could replicate these transformative conditions on the island itself without the expense and uncertainty of actually shipping the wine around the world. The technique they developed is called estufagem, the process of deliberately heating the wine to simulate the effects of the tropical ocean crossing. In the most basic form, the wine is stored in heat rooms called estufas at controlled temperatures for a minimum of 3 months. Higher quality wines are aged in the open-air wood barrels in the upper levels of the lodge, where the natural temperature variations achieve gentler version of the same effect over a much longer period, sometimes decades. The combination of heat, gradual oxidation, and the natural acidity of Madeira wine creates a product of extraordinary stability. The wine has essentially been pre-oxidized in a controlled way that makes further deterioration virtually impossible. Grape varieties. Madeira's first wines are made from a small set of native grape varieties, each associated with a particular style. Sursal is the driest, most austere, most mineral style, high in acidity, lean, almost bracing in its youth, but developing extraordinary elegance over decades. Verdelho is an off-dry with a distinctive, smoky, slightly nutty character and a slightly more body than Sursal. Boal, also spelled Boal, is medium, sweet, richer and more complex with caramel and dried fruit. And Malmsey, the angelicization of the Portuguese Malvasia grape, is the sweetest style, rich, complex, with coffee, dried fruit, and a distinctive toffee sweetness balanced by Madeira's always present high acidity. A fifth grape, Tinta Negra, is used for most of the island's commercial production and for the rainwater style, commonly found at entry-level price points. The age statements on Madeira, 5-year, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year, and the extraordinary VORS designation for wines of 30 years or more average age, tell you both the minimum age of the blend and something meaningful about its complexity. Because Madeira is pre-oxidized by its production method, it does not deteriorate after opening the way table wine does. A bottle of Madeira can remain on a shelf open for weeks or months without losing significant quality. And because it's been essentially cooked and oxidized during production, it's completely immune to the temperature and storage problems that make cellaring other wines so demanding. Madeira producers to know, Blandies is the most widely available and most consistently reliable, producing Madeira at multiple quality levels from accessible everyday bottles to historic vintage wines. The Madeira Wine Company, which includes several historic lodges, produces a range across all the major styles. And for vintage Madeira, wines from specific years rather than blended averages are the oldest commercially available vintages from the 19th century are still open, tasted, and marveled at by wine collectors today. A bottle from 1850 is not a curiosity. It's still alive, genuinely complex bottle of extraordinary character. Tomorrow, we're going to look into the forgotten fortifieds. You won't want to miss it. That's today's Daily Decant. If you found this helpful, be sure to subscribe and share with your friends so you can continue building your wine knowledge in just a few minutes a day. We'll see you tomorrow for the next Decant.